with all of the entries entered into the database and it's saved, we're ready to move on to the next step. Now if there's any corrections that need to be made to the database, we'll find out in a minute. So I'm going to go to the next step, which is step 4, which is actually writing the letter. And the easiest thing to do is pick the date. So all you do is you click on pick date, and I'll pick today's date, which is the 10th of January, or whatever date you want to be on the letter, and that'll include that there. You will notice a couple of things. First off, the address block and greeting line are surrounded by angle brackets, and that means that these are actual fields from our database, or we'll use fields from our database. Notice the mailing tab is selected, and just want to show you this, and it'll let us know if we need to clean anything up or not. There's a button called Preview Results. When you hit Preview Results, it actually fills in the items, the fields from our database, in the address and then in the greeting. Now I can turn that on and off just to kind of see what it looks like. And if I need to, I can right-click on the address block and edit the address block. And this shows how it's set up on the screen here. Now this looks pretty good. The only thing I'm maybe missing is, let me see, if I go down here, it should say Mr. or Miss, the title and the name. Now I may need to come down here to match fields and actually list all the fields that potentially can be matched up. And you may want to go down through just to check to make sure that courtesy title is matched up with the right hand column is the fields from the database. These are just default labels that are used for the letter. So and they should correspond, city and state and zip code and things along that line. If any of them are off, like for example, I've done this before where I actually have first name in the spot where last name is, when I look at the address block, it'll look a little haywire. So you can do this here, and actually you can flip through and look at all of the records. Now again, this table only has 5 records, but you can go through and check all 5 of them and make sure that they all look right. If they do, great. If not, again, you have to use the match fields to coordinate that. The same thing down here with the greeting line. You may need to right-click that and edit the greeting line. And this says Dear. Let's put it so it's going to say the person's name or the title and their last name, Mr. or what have you. And we can certainly flip through and see down here it says Mr. or Doctor or whatever the correct Ms. And again, you may need to hit the match field to do that if they don't correspond. Fortunately for me, mine have matched up, which is great. Now I can again hit this to see how it looks, and I can use these arrows up here to flip through each of the records to see how it looks, which is nice. So that's the first step. And again, if hopefully yours works out that cleanly. If not, you have to take a second and clean it up. Now what we're going to do here is down here in this block of letter, we're going to actually delete that. And for time-saving reasons, I went ahead and typed the letter out and put that in there. And I'm going to show you what we need to do next. And this is actually where the fun is. When we read through here, under the second sentence, my education, along with the first-hand candidate for the, after the word the, or the, depending on how I say it, there's a blank spot here. What I'm going to do with my mailings is I'm going to go up here to Insert Merge Field, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to put in the field position. And if I turn my preview off, it's like it did with the greeting line and address block. It shows the field name position inside of angle brackets. So it's going to put that field name followed by a position. I can hit the preview, and what that does is that fills in there. I'm an ideal candidate for the veterinary technician or the clinical veterinary technician or veterinary assistant, depending on what the field was from the database. So that's one item we need to do, and at the end of this paragraph we need to put in, I'm going to turn this off just because it kind of ruins the fun when it's on, insert the field for the organization. And what that does is it puts in the name of the organization you're trying to get a job at, or this person's trying to get a job at. So what you can do is in your body of your letter you can add fields from your connected database to do this. I'm going to skip the second paragraph because I want to do something special with that. The last part here is we're going to insert the title, space, and the person's last name. So what that will do is that'll say, thank you, Dr. Zajac, for your time and consideration. So that's kind of a nifty thing. Now the last thing we'll do is in paragraph 2, we have a situation where we can do something unique, where at the end of this sentence we want it to either say practice or school. And this is going to depend on the field we made called type. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to actually turn my preview off, go under rules, and do an if-then-else statement. And this is in your book, and it explains it very well, but I'm showing it to you just so you can see exactly how it works. This is about on page 355, 356. So what you do is, if the find the field of type is equal to letter C, I'm going to insert the word practice here, because the field type of C corresponds to practice. The other one would correspond to school. So it's either going to be practice or school. So if it's equal to C, we're going to put practice. Otherwise, or else, we'll put the word school. So let me come in here and preview it. And now it's going to say practice, school, practice. And that works out very well. So that is probably the trickiest part about this. Putting together a database is kind of the time-consuming part, but the actual putting the fields in there can be a little tricky, but if you take your steps and go through, you'll be okay.